Mr. Rafiq, Quilliam, through I think your research fellow, Dr. Osama Hassan, and also your co-founder Majid Nawaz, signed a statement in the New York Times in January of this year on what Muslims can do to reclaim their religion, which was organised by the US Gatestone Institute. Does that ring a bell?
Yes, it does. I think it was that the organisation that's headed up by Dr. Zuhdi Jasser?
No. Actually, I think it may be. But there's a number of individuals who are associated with it. Are you aware that this Gatestone Institute has carried articles from the likes of the so-called terrorism expert Stephen Emerson, the guy who famously claimed that Birmingham was an example of a totally Muslim city and a no-go area for non-Muslims, and ended up being called a, I quote, complete idiot by the Prime Minister?
I believe that the articles they carried from Steve Emerson was at a time when he was regarded by the US government as an expert. I think there have been certain things that have happened along the way, and the comments that Steve Emerson made were completely outrageous, and as the Prime Minister said, idiotic, but I don't believe that they are supporters of Steve Emerson.
Are you aware that the Gatestone Institute carry articles regularly from Robert Spencer, who is the co-founder of what is to believe an anti-Muslim group called Stop the Islamification of America? Are you aware that he has also written for the Gatestone Institute's blog and made various contributions to their activities?
I wasn't aware of that, and had I been aware of the fact that there was an organisation that was supporting Robert Spencer, I certainly would not have allowed Quilliam's name to be associated against that, but I will certainly check that. But
I'm slightly surprised by what you say, given that he was due to speak at an EDF march in Woolwich in 2013. He was banned from entering the UK as ministers deemed his presence not to be conducive to the public good. Presumably you were unaware of that.
Sorry, EDF march?
Yes. He was due to speak...
EDL, I think.
Sorry, EDL. Apologies, EDL. He was due to speak at an EDL march in 2013, not the electricity company, but I've just paid my bill as it happens. But he was due to speak at an EDL march in 2013 and was banned from entering the UK, and he's a regular contributor to the Gatestone Institute site.
That's a two-part question. The first part is that, am I aware of who he is and that he was banned from entry in the UK? Yes, I am, because I was one of the people that actually advised that he should be banned from entry into the UK. The second part of your question, was I aware that he is a contributor to the Gatestone Institute? No, I was not, and I will look into that.
The problem is with this Gatestone Institute, Mr. Rafiq, is that it's not just this Stephen Emerson and also Robert Spencer. It's just the general tone of what they carry. So, going to 2013, I'll just give you an example of the kind of things they carry. They carried a blog on the 21st of June in 2013 saying, "Soon the Muslims will be kings of the world." I just wonder what on earth an organisation like your own is doing, associating with and signing statements organised by an organisation like the Gatestone Institute, who are associated with what some have called quite far-right think tanks and organisations, and is associated with, or certainly accused of being associated with, anti-Islamic organisations, commentators and such like.
I think first of all, the comments that you just made to me in terms of I can't speak for them in terms of who they are, what they support, who they work with. We don't have a relationship per se. This was a one-off where two Muslim people and that's why I asked you, is it Dr. Zuhdi Jasser, asked Quilliam people through a personal relationship, will you sign a statement that says that Muslims, regular ordinary Muslims, want to reclaim their religion back from extremists? So I think the content of the statement in itself, I think, was a just and noble thing to actually declare. But I will, as I said, check into the fact that what relationship the Gatestone Institute have with people like Robert Spencer, and certainly look into that. I was not aware of the fact that Robert Spencer was writing for them or had written for them, and I will look into that.
I mean, I asked the question just because I have been told privately, but also I do believe we've taken some evidence in the course of this inquiry. Certainly questions have been raised about the extent to which you as an organisation are, speak for the community, and I take what you've said today, and whether or not your views are a fair representation of what is going on. And it seems to me that when you associate with or have like a co-founder signing a statement organised by an institute like the Gatestone Institute, which has a controversial reputation to say the least, in a way there's little surprise, I suppose, that people will raise questions about what the issues you raise and whether you rightly can be said to speak for the communities.
Okay, well, first of all, we don't speak for the communities. Secondly, I think it's a shame that the Bradford Council of Mosques have not come along to actually share first-hand whatever their reservations were. I only hope that it wasn't a stunt on the day. The third thing I would like to say is that Quilliam actually does have a vast outreach programme. We have a number of Quilliam societies on universities. We visit schools regularly, running workshops. We connect with young artists around the country. We have a creative season. We had a Quilliam Summer Ball this year where we had hundreds of people coming along and actually engaging from different parts of communities, and we actually deal extensively with youngsters. Now, that said, there are always going to be some people within any community that don't like somebody who are tackling Islamist ideology. And if that is the case, then I take it as a badge of honour that if we're actually tackling Islamist ideology and Islamists have a problem with us or have issues with us, I take that as a badge of honour. If there are people who are not Islamists, then I invite them to meet with us.
Yes, thank you. I think we get the point. Mr. Munna, are you done?
And
thank you. Mr. Jayawardener.
Thank you, Chairman. Mr.